You're listening to Brainbusta Radio.
Whether you're a Sheila or a Cobber, you know you're listening to Wrestling Reverb. This is a public service announcement from Mags from the Badlands podcast on Brainbusta Radio.
Hey yo, Josh, let me get a little bit of reverb. Yeah. J. Will. Yeah, I'm about that lifestyle. I talk green work, repping it all over. It's right on the t-shirt. Fan for a lifetime. Yeah, that's a long pass. Figure I would show some love right on the podcast. Turn this up loud and make sure you don't do nothing else. Cause if you're listening to us, then you're improving your health. My name is J. Will. Welcome to the show, yeah. Wrestle, flow, 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 yeah.
What is up, everybody? This is Wrestling Reverb, and today's going to be a little. Kevin, how would you describe today, other than just completely and utterly unplanned?
We're coming at you from all angles, all sides. We've got a very special guest, the Podfather of Brainbusta Radio, if you will. The man behind Wilfred watches. It's Wilf. Wilf Daddy. Wilf Sauce. Wilf, shout the people out. Tell them what you're doing.
Well, I'll tell you that the mist is rolling in today, and it's going to be very treacherous on the roadways.
Yes.
Oh, shit.
100%.
Good thing I'm
yes.
home.
Wilf is in fine form today. I'm very excited, to be honest, because, like I said, we don't really have too much of a plan today. We just going to shoot the shit. Really, Kevin's always said that's when me and him operate best. Who better to invite Wilf for along to the party?
Plans, we get a little, stuck to it. It's a little stringent, little sticky, icky to the plans. I think when we're just firing off the top loose cannon style, I think those are our most entertaining shows.
Yeah, Wilf, how do you feel about an unplanned show?
Well, sad news from here at Channel 5. Slain victim downtown in a horrible car accident. More coming out at 6 p.m. news.
Yes.
Ooh, Wrestling Reverb gets dark.
It's okay. We're not afraid about the real world here, are we, Kev?
No, shit happens.
Wilf, okay, if you want to elaborate on that any further, be my guest. You are, so why not?
More updates on the 6 p.m. hour news. Back to you on Wrestling Reverb.
This, I didn't even know. You see, you've got me in a completely just horrible situation when even I lose my words, because Kevin, I can talk for days, but when Wilf's around, he takes my breath away, I guess.
Yeah, he really, I get the butterflies in my stomach. They're having a little mosh pit inside of there. I feel like a schoolgirl again. Just the butterflies are aflutter. My eyelids are popping. We're in the presence of greatness.
Oh, yeah.
What a bitch.
We're in the presence of the belle of the ball.
What a bitch.
Oh, hell. I know how to get Wilf back on my kind of terms here. Wilf, guess what I did this week? I watched New Japan. I did it.
I've never had a double hand job before. That was great. Thank you for that.
No worries.
I imagine they feel swell.
Yeah. If you ever want to return the favor, everyone.
It was swell, all right. I'll tell you that.
Oh, man. We went from... Jesus. But I did watch New Japan this week, Wilf, so you'd be very proud of me.
Fucking A, dude. Fucking A.
I watched Dominion. I liked it. I didn't know everybody, so I'm kind of like, what the fuck is going on? But, Kevin, we can attest we're casual fans of New Japan. Well, you're probably a bit more of a fan of New Japan than I am, to be honest.
Definitely over the last 2 weeks or so, since I decided to splurge and re-up my subscription, because I'm usually the guy who subscribes on January 1st, watches Wrestle Kingdom, watches New Year's Dash, then unsubscribes.
Yeah.
But this year I decided that I really, with the state of the WWE that it's in, and like I was trying to watch Raw and SmackDown this week, and I'm just so even they weren't even like bad shows, just I'm so disinterested.
Yeah.
That I'm trying to find my footing more with New Japan. We're just into, it's the right season. You just had Dominion, one of their biggest shows of the year. You have the climax coming up in like 2 weeks, 3 weeks. We have G1 week coming up on Brainbusta Radio very soon, if you want to plug the hell out of that. And it just seems like the right time to become a New Japan fan.
Not wrong. Wilf, you're a loyal New Japan fan.
New Japan. New Japan.
Damn. I guess you would be one to wave the banner of New Japan. So, does it make you at least kind of just go, well, duh, when people like Kevin and I start watching New Japan?
Yeah, but also I'm not gonna gatekeep it. So of course, I mean, I don't fucking care when you come on. Just come on board, man, because you're not gonna regret it. So
yeah, true.
Yeah,
more
the merrier.
I enjoyed Dominion. I enjoyed it, but I think it would take me a lot. If I watched way more frequently than I did, I'd probably love it. But that being said, the reason I watched Dominion was because of Jon Moxley and Chris Jericho. But they're getting me there. They're getting me there, and they're getting me to watch the whole show. So, I mean, I guess they're doing their job correctly. Kevin, when people like Jericho, Moxley, other, big international names come over to New Japan, are you more inclined to watch when they're on the show as opposed to when they're not on the show?
There are definitely selling points, and I'd say that if I wasn't trying like really in earnest to get into New Japan on its own merits, I would say, yeah, they definitely have me more inclined to watch the show. Jericho especially. I know that Jericho's not like the world-class athlete he once was, but something about him in the ring, I feel like I need to watch him when he's wrestling. I feel like it's become such a rarefied event, and there's such a rarefied air around it, that it makes you want to tune in. And the same with Moxley now. Now that Moxley's been unshackled, so to speak, you really want to tune in to see what he's going to do, what he has to say. And yeah, I quite enjoyed his little match with Shota Umino at Dominion, and the presser afterward. That's my favorite thing about New Japan, I think, besides the wrestling, is that they have these post-match interviews where these guys are clearly still running on adrenaline, and they're breathing heavy, and they're sweating, but they're giving these heartfelt promos that are just as good, if not better, than any promo you'll ever see in a WWE ring. I love that shit. I eat that shit up.
Of course it's better.
It's real.
They're sweating. They're exhausted. They just put their life on the line, and then 2 seconds later, they've got cameras in front of them and a mic, and go. No script, no papers. Just tell us how you feel.
It's so real. It is literally. It's like so real and so visceral, and I love the way. I just love the way it looks. I love the way it feels. It feels like it makes it feel sporty. It makes it feel like a real show. And I love it.
If you liked old school promos from like Dusty Rhodes, and you like watching old school stuff like that, Macho Man just spitting off things with Gene Okerlund, this is New Japan. They just spit things off on the top of their head, and they're exposed if they say dumb things, and they're also highlighted like Juice Robinson when they say amazing, great promos that actually make you want to watch more, and it's just raw emotion. It's fantastic.
Yeah, it really is. I really like that aspect of New Japan as well. Will, from your eyes, because it's very different from your eyes to ours, when people like Jericho and Moxley come in, I mean, you're already watching the product, but do you think they add a certain level of something to New Japan that others don't? Or does it really not make that much of a difference to you? It's just more bodies wrestling, really?
Well, it's done in a measured dosage. It's not like they are picking off C-rated or D-rated WWE guys. They're picking off stars, and they're pulling them in, here and there. It's not an abundance of, it's not an TNA flow of stars.
Yeah.
It's just getting guys who are going to make their product better. And who better than WCW, WWE legend, and easily a Hall of Famer anywhere, Chris Jericho, to make all these new fans come in to see a Japanese wrestling experience. And it's really something to be said when when you're at work, you want your peers to see how good you are. When you are playing football or you're playing a sport, you want your peers to appreciate you the most. You want your friends and peers to respect you. And New Japan Pro Wrestling is the best quality pro wrestling there is. And where better to get that respect and that acknowledgement that you are that good, that you can go with the best, because that's not WWE anymore, unfortunately.
No, at this point in time, I 100% agree with you. It's not. I like talking to you, Wilf, about WWE because although you're not, an avid watcher of WWE's product, and you're not really, you keep up to a certain degree, probably more so through talking to us than anything else, but you also aren't just there to bash the WWE product. You do admit you're all for it being great. You want it to be great, really, because more great wrestling is just great for everybody involved. But, Kev, we watch WWE on a weekly basis, and we also want it to be the best. Kevin, you can attest to that. We want the best product. Yeah. Yes, we want it to be great. But for someone like Wilf, who is a casual, I guess, would you call yourself a casual WWE fan? How would you describe yourself to WWE at the moment? Is it just you have no interest in watching it ever? Do you pick up where you can? Do you want it to be? Where do you lie with WWE at the moment?
Okay, so when people in real life, I tell them that I like pro wrestling, I just say this. I say I love pro wrestling, but not the WWE stuff. I watch New Japan Pro Wrestling. I watch Japanese guys. And that usually, you already get the flail of like fire thrown in the face, like, wrestling, what? You're an adult. Yeah. And then I tell them it's Japanese, and then they're thoroughly fucking confused. So that's how I kind of just say, like, yeah, but not the. So my association right now is like I was born and raised with WWE. I'm not gonna completely lie to you and come off like I've been some loyal Puro fan since like 15. Tape trading, that's bullshit. I'm just a fan in the last like 8 to 10 years. And it doesn't matter when you came in or how much history you know. It's just that you're enjoying the product now. That's what matters most. And WWE, unfortunately, even though I was born and raised on it, it's not something that I closely associate with. But wrestling Twitter is, 89% WWE banter and bullshit, and you can't help but know exactly what's going on in WWE all the time. And I don't need to watch it to know exactly what's happening, because there is thousands of people on Twitter who are just, shitting on it the entire time rather than giving ideas how to make it better. I agree. So, it would be really easy just to shit on the product. But I'll just say that they're not doing what it takes to keep me in tune. I did love Kofi Mania. The Kofi storyline was fantastic, and I was tuning in. Becky Lynch describing herself as transcending the women's division as the man. That build was fucking great. That moment when she came out at Royal Rumble and that really cool stage set, that was fucking awesome.
Yeah.
And, Chris Jericho and Kevin Owens, holy shit, dude. I was tuning in just for those segments. I mean, so when they want to do it, they can do it. But for the majority of the time, they're just killing time. And that's, unfortunately, that's not good enough for me. So.
No, I agree. I'm still, no matter how many times I'm angry and whatever, I'm still always looking for the good in it. and I want it to be awesome because I know it can be. It's not like they don't have the talent right now. Me and Kevin.
WrestleMania was amazing.
It was. WrestleMania was
a great fucking show.
Really, really, really good. And it seems like they peaked with Mania and then have just gone, whatever. Like, they just...
Out of nowhere, like, out of absolute nowhere, WrestleMania was fantastic.
Yeah.
Like, I did not see that coming. But as a wrestling fan, you know you're going to tune in. You got to check it out. It's just one of those things. But, other than that, it's garbage every week. And it sucks because I would love to be tuning in, participating on Twitter in a more positive light and talking to you every week about it. But it's just no good right now. And it really sucks because I wish it were. And I really think AEW will be bringing them up to a level of competition. I really hope so. Because if they don't notice that there is another horse on the racetrack next to them, then they're going to get, run over, unfortunately.
Oh yeah. Kevin, WrestleMania. Let's just go back to WrestleMania for a minute. We both thoroughly enjoyed WrestleMania. But if you could take anything away from WrestleMania, feel free to argue with me on this, is that I think WrestleMania was great because we had moments like Kofi and Becky and Seth. We got everything we quote-unquote wanted. So the chase is always better than the moment. It always is. It just always is better than them getting it. It's the chase. We have nothing at the moment for chasing. Everyone, you look at all our champions at the moment, Becky, Seth, Kofi, Bayley, like they're all underdog characters to a certain degree. There's no chase in WWE at the moment. Do you think that's an issue, or do you think it goes beyond that?
Well, you know what you call an underdog when they reach the top? They're a favorite. And we don't like to root for favorites, we like to root for underdogs. So they have to make new underdogs. That's the thing, is we get over people so quick.
Yeah.
In this industry, the flavor of the month type stuff where it gets hot for a month, then immediately people start to lose their luster on them. No fault of the performer. I see a lot of people on Twitter that are calling Becky Lynch overrated and claiming that she's not any good and they're sick of her, when I don't think she's done anything wrong. I think she's been just as good this entire time, just as consistent as she was when she first got hot. But we get over people so fast. There have to be new people waiting in the wings to step up and take those underdog spots. In the meantime, you got to have good bad guys to take the belts from the good guys, because heels in WWE make better champions, I think, all the time.
Yeah.
Because, like you said, Josh, we want that chase. We want to watch that. We want to watch our heroes struggle and climb the ladder, fall back down the ladder, climb up again. And we want to watch them ascend to the top of the mountain over a long period of time with a well-told story. Once you get to the end of that story, you have to have more stories to tell.
Yeah.
Because it's a cyclical thing. There's no off-season. There's no end to the WWE story. There's no end to there's no end to the cycle. It just keeps going and going, and you have to be able to account for that. Like right now, I don't think they're telling any really good stories right now. I think they're just biding their time till probably SummerSlam, when they when they get Brock Lesnar back on TV, because I don't think we're going to see him for a little bit. I know he's got the briefcase, but I still don't think we're not going to see him for a little bit.
Me either.
And I just think they're kicking the tires right now. They're just sort of letting time fly by.
They are. Wilf, from an outside set of eyes, when you see talent, you know that there's talent. I don't think anyone's issue with WWE is the in-ring product. They're putting on decent matches on a weekly basis. If for someone that watches Raw and SmackDown every week, they are putting on good matches all the time. Pay-per-views are always great matches. So the talent is not the problem. But when you look from an outside set of eyes in to the talent, and you're keeping up on wrestling Twitter or just through us, whoever, and going, these people are not getting used. What does that make you think? Because the talent's there, but it's just not happening. What does that kind of make you go and think?
It's really annoying to see these tweets and people complaining and making lists about people who aren't being used. That's just really annoying and exhausting, and it just makes me care even less.
Yeah.
as far as as far as the wrestling and the talent, obviously, you would be a fool to think that WWE doesn't have the best wrestlers in the world. But there's one simple problem that everybody overlooks, is that Raw, SmackDown, NXT, well, not NXT so much, but WWE programming is no longer a wrestling program.
No.
And you can give me all of this, like, well, you're an apologist, you have confirmation bias, all this bullshit. It's not a wrestling program. It's an entertainment program. Vince has stated that he is challenging Disney. He thinks that he has transcended his genre, and he's not even competing with wrestling companies anymore. He's competing with the likes of Disney. And when you think like that, you're not thinking about wrestling. It's an entertainment show with wrestling sprinkled in it. So there's no doubt that they have the best payroll, the best talent in the absolute world. But where are they working? They are not performing for a wrestling show.
It is true. They are an entertainment show that just happens to feature wrestling. In a way, I from a business standpoint, I can understand that. They want to be, obviously, no matter what company you're working for, whether it's wrestling or not, you want it to be the biggest it can be. And with Vince McMahon, I think Vince McMahon used to be a wrestling genius. I actually do think that. Years and years and years. Of course. He transcended the business. He changed the outlook of what the sports entertainment, pro wrestling, whatever you want to call it, he changed the business. But in 2019, he's no longer a wrestling genius. Do you think that, Kevin, your thoughts, just give me your thoughts on Vince McMahon right now.
He's over the hill. I mean, he's not, I don't think he has a great entertainment sense anymore. You could talk about his wrestling sense forever, because like Wilf has said, this is an entertainment company that we are talking about first and foremost. I just think that he's lost a little bit of sight as to what people are entertained by. People tune in to WWE programming to be entertained by wrestling. But they're not getting a wrestling show. They're getting an entertainment show. And it's funny enough that people aren't entertained by the entertainment. I don't think I am. I don't think there's been one thing on WWE programming over the last couple of months that wasn't that was just a promo or a backstage segment or some sort of story where I was like, wow, this is really keeping me entertained. This is really engrossing me in the story. I'm tuning in to watch wrestling. So I think it's never going to happen. Maybe someday, maybe when Vince steps down or dies or something, it might become more of a wrestling company. But I think they're too heavily invested in the entertainment side of things with all the partnerships they have and all the goodwill they get and how much their stock price is going up and how much money they're making. I think WWE's in the entertainment business for life. I don't think Vince really has a knack for it anymore. I think maybe Triple H could do better. I'm not sure, though, because I think Triple H sort of wants more wrestling in the entertainment. But I don't know. It's tough. It's really tough to call. I'm speaking in fucking circles here. It's so hard to call that because there's so many different, when you ask what goes into your wrestling show, there are so many different ingredients. Some you get from New Japan, some you get from AEW, some you get from Impact or Ring of Honor, and then some you get from WWE. It's all different. It's all different, flavors of soup, but it all goes into one big pot, the wrestling pot.
Yeah, no joke. With Vince, it's different. Wilf, there's always talk of when Vince steps down, Triple H takes over. I, for one, don't think the company will be left to Triple H. I think the company will be left to Stephanie, but that's just my opinion. But when you think of Vince now, what kind of goes through your mind as someone who's not keeping up? So what do you think of Vince McMahon from the outside?
Well, okay. So a couple things. You say he's not a wrestling genius now. And I would argue that to an extent. I believe that if he wanted to be, he knows exactly how to sell a wrestling program. I think he has not forgotten that. What I do think he has is lost touch and has not been able to trust the people around him. He is not able to trust a team of writers and people and talent around him because he believes that he is ultimately right, which is, I'm not going to get there, but he has a very dogmatic approach to everything, and he doesn't need anybody else's help. He doesn't trust other people. I think that's where he's failing. I don't think necessarily he's lost touch completely with pop culture and everything current. I think he knows what's going on, and he's very, very savvy. But I don't think he trusts the people around him. So I want to ask you something, Josh. What are like the one or two greatest things about WWE programming right now? Would you say like Bray Wyatt's stuff and Iconics, obviously?
Well, obviously I am a big, Iconics lover, but that's not even their television stuff. That's all their .com stuff. All the exclusive .com stuff they do is just what I want to see from them on television, but they don't really get presented in that way. But yeah, Bray Wyatt stuff is fantastic. What else am I really... the one thing that I like at the moment, Kevin, you probably won't agree with me because I've seen something on Twitter from you, but I'm enjoying Nikki Cross and Alexa Bliss's stuff at the moment. It's keeping me somewhat involved. I like it. I like that Nikki Cross is kind of crazy, but Bliss kind of calms her and, is using her, essentially. That I like. But, that's not, like, fantastic stuff. That's just, I think, picking the, best of a bad bunch. I guess. But that would be what Bray's stuff is fantastic. I think that's really well done. But the problem is that it's not transcending for me into wanting him to wrestle. It's just, I just want to see more Firefly Funhouse. That's all I want to see. I have no interest in seeing Bray wrestle.
That's my point, man. It's like all the good things that people like to rave about are all pre-taped segments or backstage stuff that doesn't make TV, none of which is wrestling, except for the Bliss, other than Bliss and Nikki thing. But look at the amount of stuff that people rave about that they actually do like. And it's a constant stream of Bray Wyatt. It's nothing about wrestling. So how are these wrestling fans on Twitter, how are you calling yourself a wrestling fan if nothing on the product you're watching that you enjoy is the wrestling portion?
I mean, that's true. I look at WWE. I guess I look at WWE differently than other people. I love the wrestling in WWE because I appreciate when something's great. However, this is when I get turned kind of like people give me a little bit of a side eye. Not everybody, just in general. Is that my favorite kind of professional wrestling is the entertainment stuff. That's my favorite aspect of wrestling because I think wrestling is more than just wrestling. But I love great wrestling. Don't get me wrong. I've harped on about it many times how much I love the in-ring product. But I think it's a mixture of all of that. To get that to me is a great. I guess what you could say is that I'm very adept to sports entertainment. I guess that's what you would call me. But there's many times when some of my favorite things about WWE's product or just my history with wrestling as a kid or whatever is segments, is talking, is entertainment. But I don't know. it does make me look at myself a little bit differently. Kevin, when you kind of get... What do you kind of what is your favorite part of wrestling? Is it the in-ring stuff? Is it entertainment? Is it a mixture?
Over time, it's changed. When I was growing up, I didn't pay so much attention to the wrestling itself. Like, I couldn't call moves or didn't understand the difference between a brawler and a technical style wrestler. I got into wrestling because of the larger-than-life stories and characters and all that sort of stuff. But as I've grown older and I've grown, I guess, wiser to the product and sort of picked up on all the behind-the-scenes stuff, I've morphed into someone who appreciates pure wrestling, and I that's become what I look for. So when we get a match on Raw like Cesaro and Ricochet, I don't really care if there's no story built up around it. I'd like there to be, but I'm not like gonna stress about it if they just have a random couple of matches and they're really good. Like they have been.
Yeah, me either. I appreciate great wrestling when there's great wrestling. But, okay, Wilf, this isn't like, you know, looking at someone like me who watches WWE product primarily, what would you consider... I'm not going to get offended with whatever you say. But do you not consider someone like me to be the quote-unquote wrestling fan? Am I something different in your eyes? That's not a knock. I'm not.
No, that's a valid question. I would say you're a wrestling fan, but I appreciate, and this is what really drew me into the Josh brand, is that you are adaptive and you can take things on face value without looking too deeply into the surface. So people of my age, people of my ilk who are trending towards where Kevin is looking like, appreciating wrestling for the art more so than the entertainment value. I was trending that way as well in the past, and that's the difference. And I think that's the maturity that you show, is that you are able to take it on the surface and look at it on the surface for what it is right now. And it's almost as if, it's easier for your generation to be fans of this type of product, of wrestling / entertainment, whatever it is, because I have a much deeper, longer history of watching wrestling. I've watched wrestling for 20 years longer than you. And there's a lot of good and bad that went through those. So I think that it's very mature of you that you are able to see the differences, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
And I saw that in you right away. I was like, wow, he's just, it's not just about being positive either. It's being able to critique appropriately. Because there are people who will just 100% bash on the product. Then there are people who are just 100% positive all the time, and they are not. You're ignorant to the bad things. I think it's responsible. You're a responsible fan if you're able to critique both sides, and I think you do that really well. So I would say you're definitely a wrestling fan, but you're very. Maybe like an evolved type of wrestling fan, because you have been able to deal with mostly more of an entertainment aspect of it, because that is relatively new to me. And so no, I would say wrestling fan for sure.
Yeah, it is. It has its moments, especially now that, looking at things at face value, Kevin, that's what kind of drew me into you as well, is because we can analyze all we want. We can. If we really wanted to break everything down and analyze it, I could do that. You could do that. Wilf, you could do that. But looking at something on face value and just taking something for what it is can make you enjoy something in any regards, not just wrestling, but just taking it for what it is without really... You don't have to look into everything. Just... okay, this is what we get on the face value. When you watch WWE program now, Kev, you obviously want it to be good. We've stated that many times. But what's kind of attracting you to the product at the moment other than Bray? Is there anything that you're really just like, I like this at the moment? Or whatever it may be, even if it isn't WWE, what are you liking in wrestling at the moment?
I mean, I do love this is where I'm almost contradicting myself, because I do love the Bray stuff. I think it's really good. But like you said, Bray Wyatt isn't someone I particularly care to watch in the ring. So I'm just sort of hoping that these Firefly segments just go on forever.
Yeah.
But that's a disservice to the man. That's a disservice to the character. That's a disservice to the WWE. But I am looking closely at that stuff. And also, the 24/7 championship shenanigans, while maybe they were a bit childish at first, they've allowed me to discover more of a childish side and go back to my roots a little bit. Some of the zany, wacky stuff going on, like R-Truth being trapped in some sort of case. They're moving him around. He was trapped in an elevator. Yeah, trapped in a crate. That's a better word than case. In an elevator. He's been at a barbecue. He's literally been everywhere with that belt, and I think it's funny. I don't think it's like the smartest humor around.
It's fun. It's just having a little bit of fun. That is the epitome of just looking something at face value and just going, I'm just enjoying this for what it is. They're using, social media is a big part of anything now, and they are utilizing social media the way they should have utilized social media from the start, and that's making you actually want to you have to check up on WWE's on stuff. Wilf, do you have any opinions on the 24/7 championship? Do you know much about any of the segments? Surely you've seen stuff around.
Yeah, well, the concept's great, obviously. I'm not sure how much they're showing on, like, Raw or SmackDown. Are they showing clips of it or something?
Yeah, I guess.
Or is this purely online only?
No, they're doing stuff on Raw and SmackDown, but I guess they're just doing different stuff, Kevin. Okay. I don't know. What are they showing the online stuff on? I think
they have online. The online stuff is almost purely exclusive, I think, to online. I think they do different stuff on TV.
Yeah, but there's some kind of continuity. But regardless, yes, I guess would be the answer.
So it's the concept's fantastic concept, because when you go back to Attitude Era, it was not the best wrestling. It was the most entertaining.
Yeah.
And at the same time, they did have some stellar pro wrestling matches, so which kind of balanced it out very well. It wasn't an imbalance of just pure entertainment. See, that's the I think the core of the issue I have with WWE right now is that the good wrestling is on the lower card or mid card.
Yes.
And the entertainment is at the top of the card. And in the Attitude Era, the entertainment was in the mid card stuff. And you had the wrestling for the majority of the top of the card was, Rock, Stone Cold, Shawn, Bret Hart. You had the really good wrestling at the top.
Agreed.
The most important part of the show. And now the most important part of the show is Shane McMahon and whatever Becky Lynch is saying and Roman. That's not really buying me in.
I agree.
So the 24/7 thing is a fantastic concept, but you see how outrageously good it is doing with views, and that's a worry, because if that's more popular than like the hardcore title ever was, well, that's not really the purpose of the title. The purpose is for a lower card talents to reach for something that's obtainable, and so it's a great concept, but I don't know how they're going to execute that for long term. It's I don't think it's going to last for more than like 2 or 3 years.
Oh no!
I probably get molded into the U.S. title or something to that effect.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's definitely not a long-term championship. It's definitely, you can tell it's even. I hate analyzing it like this, but you can tell it's booked in the short term. It definitely has no like concrete plan, or if they do, it's very well laid out, because it doesn't seem like it is, but it is fun. I listen, I look for anything fun in WWE's product, and that's fun, so I guess that's drawing me in. and I'm looking forward to that. R-Truth is the perfect kind of character for that. R-Truth, I think R-Truth's kind of underappreciated in some aspects because he's been around for a long time, and he kind of, he's lived and breathed wrestling for a long time. But he knows his spot, and he plays it very well. It is just fun to watch the 24/7 title with R-Truth. But Kevin, if they took that 24/7 championship away from R-Truth and put it on someone else and let them kind of run with it, would you be as intrigued?
It's tough to say because R-Truth is such a top-tier comedy wrestler, as we've seen over the years. And I think he can inspire others to be funny. Like, the stuff Jinder Mahal is doing right now, chasing the title, is really good, too. I don't want that to get lost in the shuffle because Jinder's done some really funny stuff just to get that belt. And his earnestness and wanting it and his tenacity and going after it is admirable and just hysterical. But if R-Truth is transitioned out of that picture and it just becomes something, hot potato, as much as I enjoyed it, as much as I've said that I'd rather see it, hot potatoed around and like people have like 17, 18 title reigns under their belt, I'd like to see R-Truth have like 19 or 20 24/7 title reigns, but I'm not sure how it gets when it gets away from him. I'm not sure what it's going to look like after that because I don't think there's another guy on the roster who does the comedy stuff as well as R-Truth.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. The stuff with him and Mella's been really fun, and it is good. Wilf, when you think about comedy wrestling, what's your outlook on comedy wrestling?
Well, I think that comedy wrestling is definitely needed in a wrestling show, wrestling card, but done in a well-portioned amount. So if you take a dose of vitamin C for something, right? You just need however much your body needs. So any extra is released through the urine. So essentially, in the right amount is all I need is for the card. So when you are filling out full hours worth of comedy or an hour and a half full of comedy just to fill TV time, that's a joke. When you have a random ass R-Truth segments just sprinkled in between some good wrestling matches, that's a good dosage.
Yeah.
When you have a Yano match right in the middle of a G1 Classic, Kota Ibushi versus Ishii match, that's a good dosage because it's going to be a short amount, small amount, and it's going to be a great concentrated amount of goodness. But when it's sprinkled out throughout the entire 3-hour Raw or Impact or whatever it may be, then it doesn't really do the body good at all.
No, it definitely, comedy wrestling has its place, I think, and it, like you said, it has to be a controlled amount. It can't just be like, let loose for whatever we're watching for the entire time span. You can't have that, you can't have it all the time. It fizzles out when, a joke is said way too many times, it's not funny anymore. When you watch a movie too many times, it's no longer funny anymore. So you do have to sprinkle it out 100%. Why we've got Wilf here, Kevin, and you brought up Becky Lynch before and how some people are saying she's overrated. She's,
my girl.
She's taken, it's past. She's no longer the hot topic anymore.
My girl.
Wilf?
Question there. I was too busy listening to myself sing.
Well, I was definitely tuning it out. So, with Becky Lynch, she had a hell of a run up to WrestleMania from SummerSlam of last year. She seemed to be the talk of WWE, a lot of the talk of, wrestling in general. Becky Lynch was kind of, quote unquote, no pun intended, the man. Everyone was talking about her. Do you think she's past that hype? Do you think she's outlived the hype? Do you think she still is a hot commodity of the industry now?
So I have my qualms about Becky Lynch. I have some reservations. So here's my thing about Becky Lynch. I think that too much attention is drawn to her mad Twitter game, which is just annoying, really. To me, when I scroll through and I see Twitter arguments and fake, threads with, stuff like her and Big E was funny, but, like other things with her and Lacey just going on, and I don't care. Stuff like that doesn't make me want to tune in. So if she had less of her mad Twitter game so public, it's just like, you're not really a wrestler or a champion. You're just somebody who talks a lot online and has worked the office politics very well. So like this current, persona, whatever, I think it's taken to an extreme and it's really just a turnoff for me. But as far as the wrestling in-ring content and how she's a dual champion and all that, that's really cool. I think that's fantastic. I don't think that's cooled off. I think your point to somebody finally getting to the top of the mountain and then everybody's like, oh, great, well, I've done it now. Oh, he did, I could do it. That cool off is really, it's like a freezer. It just happens suddenly. Yeah. And that happened like in New Japan. Kenny Omega was going for the belt. He had these epic fucking matches with Okada. And then he got the belt and a lot of the, New Japan fans were thinking that he's garbage. Oh, he's a horrible champion, blah, blah, blah. Well, I think his title reign was poor because he didn't really have any great defenses to stand upon. That's why I think his title run was poor, not because he's just a white guy in Japan. But as far as Becky Lynch goes, I don't think the in-ring character has really cooled off from what I have been following and seeing and how she's got both belts and all that. That's cool. I like that. Because who's gonna surpass her? It needs to be somebody who's gonna get a great push. And the only qualm I have is like the Twitter thing. That's just such a bore to me. So I feel kind of iffy about the whole situation.
Becky, to me, I love Becky. I think Becky's great. I think she had a really great run up until WrestleMania and so on with, her being Becky 2 belts for a little while. And then, yes, she dropped the SmackDown one, but she's still the Raw Women's Champion. But she tries really dang hard to be cool. Just be Becky. That's what got you here. Stop trying to say things that just perceive as cool. She tries, there's certain backstage promos or just promos where she says certain things and I'm like, that's not, it's not her. In my eyes, that's not Becky. And I don't know what your take on this, Kevin, is, because I know you love Becky and I know you get really mad when people say, stuff about Becky, but do you...
You hold your tongue, young man.
I know, but do you think that maybe Becky... Is she trying too hard to be cool? Is the Twitter stuff too much? Has she changed what Becky is too much?
No, I would agree with the Twitter aspect of it. I would agree with Wilf 100%. It does get old. It comes off as kind of hokey, and a lot of times, like she had an exchange with Edge, where I thought Edge probably got the better of her.
He did,
and it's not a good look. So I think maybe you gotta lick your wounds and stay off social media for a bit, because wrestling isn't fought on social media. Matches aren't won on social media. And as much as, they all, I guess storylines to an extent are run on social media now, but I still prefer them to be on TV. I think the Twitter stuff has gotten old with Becky. I think Becky's character is fine. I will say this. I grew to love Becky when she was the last kicker, the straight fire spitballer, with the puns and the tea time and all the dorky little stuff. That's the Becky Lynch that I love. Now, I'm not saying I don't love the man, because the man is awesome. The man is a great character. I wish he could have, instead of going 100% in on this and completely losing who she was before, I wish he could have sprinkled some of her old character in with the new character and made sort of a hybrid man last kicker type of character. I think that would have been better received by just about everybody.
Kevin, a question.
Yes. Potentially.
sounds to me it's like a simple case of jumping the shark. Once you transcend the entire division and your gender, within the storyline, where else can you go?
That's a good point.
I mean, what else could they possibly do with her at this point to make her character, better?
They could have her jump a literal shark, monkey style. But no, I think that's a very valid point. Is that what do you do now? Like she beat Ronda Rousey, she beat Charlotte Flair, she held both belts, she's the man, she transcended the entire division, like you said. What's next? It feels like a demotion now because like there's nothing you could possibly do to top that. So I don't know. I foresee her dropping the belt sometime soon. I think she's had her run. I think she's still going to be over. I just don't think she's going to be over as the champ for much longer. I think she's going to get back in the line. Maybe drop the belt to Lacey. I don't know. I doubt it. Maybe drop it to a returning Sasha Banks, which if that ever happens, I could definitely see that happening.
This is where some really good old school storytelling would go really far for her character. I think if she had a fake injury angle where Lacey like violently attacked her and she's out for 3 to 6 months, she's out for like 3 months of TV and comes back out of fucking nowhere.
Oh, yeah.
I think that would just blow up, man. People would go crazy for that return because it's hard to keep progressing when she's already kind of beat the entire division on both shows.
Here's something to throw at y'all. Do you think Lacey was the wrong first opponent for Becky? Do you think Lacey maybe was better maybe down the line? Because Lacey's fresh, yes, it is a fresh feud, but do you think that Becky needed someone of equal stature to match her, just to keep the momentum rolling for a little bit? Because to me, I love Lacey. Everyone knows I love Lacey Evans, but it's killed it. It's killed it for me. Yes.
I had no clue.
Like a lady. But Kevin, do you think that Lacey was the wrong first choice to go in here?
No, I don't think it was the wrong first choice. I haven't had a problem with the Becky Lacey stuff. Lacey isn't the caliber of competitor that, say, a Charlotte Flair or a Becky or any of the Horsewomen would have been, but you can't revolve a division around 4 women. No. You have to try new things, and I think this was the perfect first feud for Becky, actually, because it's going to give her 2 title defenses, because I believe she's going to beat Lacey again at Stomping Grounds.
Yes.
It's going to give her some wins. It's going to give her some prestige, and it's going to give Lacey some shine as well. It already has, in my opinion. I think Lacey's gotten some shine from this, and she'll only get more the further along the line she goes. I think this is a perfect place for them both to go after WrestleMania, actually.
Fair. All right, fair. Wilf, when someone like Lacey Evans, what's your take on someone like Lacey Evans? Because I know that we've talked about Lacey Evans before, but from an in-ring standpoint, you probably haven't seen a lot of Lacey.
Oh, me?
Yeah, you.
No, I did see some of her NXT stuff. I think she's a fantastic pro wrestler. I think she's a fantastic character and actually a fantastic role model for a lot of young individuals, male or female. Yes, she's not at that caliber of like a Becky or Flair or whatever, but she's a perfect opponent. I agree with Kevin. Is a great first opponent. You have to have some sort of a cool-off. And if you're going to put Becky straight back into a feud with a high-level competitor, I don't think that works at all. You got to have a couple of lighter story feuds to get to a SummerSlam, period. So Lacey was perfect for this role because you could always draw back to the moment where Lacey was the only one with the guts to step up to Becky at that time. Lacey has only improved herself as a character in my eyes through this first feud.
That's fair. No, I get it. Becky is it is very much where do you go from here with Becky. But I think people just try to find anything bad in anybody just to have something to talk about. So I don't think Becky is overrated. It's just where do we go from here? It's not her in-ring stuff. Again, pointing out that WWE's problem is not their in-ring stuff, because it ain't. It's just more so creatively they're nothing. But we're recording a day before. You're hearing this on Friday, but well, a couple of days before for you guys. But whatever.
Friday.
What a
Gotta
song.
Get down on Friday.
That's a
I don't know.
That's a hell of a song. That's a song. But it's actually been 6 months to the day that the McMahons came out on Raw in December and said, we haven't been doing a very good job. We're going to kind of give you some fresh stuff. We want to do something better. And it seems like since that point, we're in a worse spot than we were in December. Kevin, have you gone back and actually listened to what they have said? Or can you remember what the McMahons said and look at where we are now? Because it seems like we are in a worse spot than we were 6 months ago.
Look, all I remember from that, and I haven't gone back, I haven't cared to rewatch it. It was never that big a deal to me. But I remember them saying that we were the authority, and I thought that was so laughable. Because, how would that even be possible?
Yeah.
You can't let us run the show.
You know what's even more laughable than that? No offense, Josh, but people who still remember that. People who still hang on that thought and, do their cute little tweets about it. That's fucking hilarious. That you are clinging on one line that they used just to kind of rile up the fan base. And of course it didn't mean anything. It was a fucking joke because people are going to watch regardless. And, they're sadists is what they are.
Yeah, the McMahons, hey, I brought up this before and just randomly just thought of it again, but I kind of said that, I slid it in there that I don't think the company will be left to Triple H's name. I think it will be more Stephanie. I've said that before to some people and they're like, no, it'll be Triple H's company, but Wilf, do you think the name of the company when Vince McMahon steps down or something happens, do you think the name in question that will be running the company will be Triple H? Or do you think it's more of it's going to stay McMahon, it's going to stay Stephanie?
Well, you're missing a key component here, is that if Vince were to, and I hate to speculate this, but if Vince were the first one to go, Linda McMahon has her name likely as the primary major shareholder of the company at that point. Oh, yeah. So you got to think about Linda. You got to think about Mama McMahon. And what does she want to do with the company? How does she want to take it? Who does she like more? Is she going to hand it to Stephanie? Is she going to let the Stephanie Triple H duo do it? Does she have more trust in Shane, who built up a company in China, which people forget, before Shane really kind of just did everything he could over there and came back to the States? I mean, think about that. So it's really, what does Linda want to do?
You always forget about Linda.
You always forget about Linda.
Linda's there. God, remember Linda McMahon selling a stunner? Oh.
I was just about to say the reason you don't remember Linda McMahon is because she can't sell the stunner.
Oh man, Linda was something else. What's your favorite Linda McMahon memory, Wilf, that isn't the stunner?
Oh, I don't really remember too much from that time period, other than I think she had a neck brace at one point.
Oh, yeah. And
she was I really don't remember the context other than I remember a visual of her she had a solid emotionless face with a neck brace. That was kind of weird.
That's when she was sedated and Vince was kissing Trish Stratus in front of her, and that whole WrestleMania 17 storyline, and Linda got up out of the chair and kicked Vince in the in the family jewels.
You know what? That's just about the time I tuned out, actually.
Kevin.
There you go.
Linda McMahon memories. Do you have any?
We just said it.
Oh.
When she gets up out of that wheelchair at WrestleMania 17 and just, she plants one right in the corporate grapefruits. That's literally the only Linda McMahon memory I have.
Corporate grapefruits. Oh.
I'd also just like to point out that this is 2 weeks in a row the word sadist has been uttered on Wrestling Reverb TV. That's got to be a record.
Oh. What? It has. Damn, sadist. What a word.
Said it last week. Wolf said it this week. We're going to have to make that a running tally now.
Yeah, that's 2. We're at 2. That would be the tally.
I'll say it next week. Don't worry.
Yeah, you'll slide it in there, and I probably won't even realize, to be honest.
You'll realize it when I make a big deal about it.
Sexual innuendos. Wilf, there's a little thing around here that we like to, I like to do just to kind of torment Kevin, and that's Kevin versus Australia. However, we were talking yesterday, and you have something else in mind, and if you don't anymore, then I apologize, but what is something that you wanted to bring to Reverb that doesn't embarrass Kevin as much as I do with his lack of Australian knowledge?
Well, Josh, do you know what a breakfast taco is?
Well, I know what a taco is, but no.
So you don't know what okay. So a breakfast taco, what do you think it is?
It has to be somewhat like a taco, so it has to be something with, like, beef. But a breakfast, no. Oh, no. Is it, like, a taco made out of, like, a pancake? What is it?
No. One more try.
Is it just a taco you eat at breakfast time? Like,
Yeah,
like
essentially.
beef in it?
Essentially. Yeah, so breakfast taco is usually a thin corn tortilla or a flour tortilla. And you have an endless combination option with what goes in that flour tortilla or corn tortilla. And you'll have some scrambled eggs and bacon, chorizo and egg, bean and cheese, a barbacoa, a huge variety that you could have. It's an endless variety. Sausage and egg, but a breakfast taco is essentially like water here in Texas. Everybody has it.
Oh, right. For anyone that doesn't know, Wilf is from Texas, and he listen. He likes to say a lot that Texans and Australians are similar, but I don't fucking see it. I don't fucking see it, Wilf. I don't see it. Please explain to me how we're similar.
It's the population is one thing. In total, Texas and Australia has a similar population, grand total. Also, it's just a very old country, like flatlands. It's just the fucking same, Josh. You know?
Oh, man.
We are very similar, and that's the fact.
Kevin, how do you feel about Texas?
Barbecue. Yeah. I want to hear Josh.
I don't know. I don't really have a feeling on Texas. I know it's part of the United States. I know it's down there somewhere.
Jesus Christ.
But I'm from pretty far away from Texas. I'm from Pennsylvania.
See, to me, I don't know where anything is in America. So everything is just, you're close. I don't know. I don't know where anything is. So to me, I don't know shit about anything. But Texas seems fine, I guess. What would you recommend me doing somewhere in Texas? What, am I meant to just come and eat food?
Absolutely.
I mean, I'm not mad at that at all, because I love food. Food is pretty damn good. But, man, I don't know. Kevin, you're from Philly. No, you're from. Where are you from? Pennsylvania, somewhere.
I'm not from Philly. We like to say we like to say this little saying about Pennsylvania. You have Pittsburgh on one end, Philadelphia on the other, and the rest is Kentucky. I live in that Kentucky area.
Okay, so what am I meant?
You wouldn't even get that either, Josh. I just wasted a good saying on you.
I don't know what that means. I just laughed to be nice.
Basically, it's Pittsburgh's a big city, Philly's a big city. The rest of it's like nothing.
Okay, so what do you want me to elaborate on that?
I don't. If you want to come to Pennsylvania, the biggest thing I can interest you in is a return flight home.
All right.
There's good history. If you're a history guy, there's good history in Pennsylvania. Primarily in Philly.
Oh, Kevin sometimes, I don't know, Kevin sometimes just makes me really laugh, like a lot. You come in with little, like, one-liners sometimes, Kevin, and it makes me, like, cry laugh sometimes. Keep doing you, dude. As we kind of wind down here this show is going off the rails, so
rails reverb.
Wilf, you've got some cool stuff coming up soon, and obviously everything with Brainbuster and stuff. But the floor is yours, my friend. Put yourself over. Where can people find you? What's coming up for Wilf?
You can find me in San Antonio, Texas. That's in the center of Texas, in the lower portion of the hill country. And I've got sleep coming up. Then I'm going to slumber a bit and wake up and have some Cafe Bustelo coffee in the morning, probably with a yogurt. That's what I got going on.
Nice. Mm-hmm. Kevin, to elaborate on that, well, what's coming up for the rest of Kevin's day and sleep morning? What's going on for Kevin? What are you planning to eat for breakfast?
Well, after I log off of here, I might have a nice little snack. I'm currently watching Card Sharks on ABC, so you can catch me doing that. After that, I will probably be turning in as well, because I'm a little tired. Little. You might be able to hear it in my voice a little nasally. I'm just getting over being sick. And then tomorrow is Thursday.
Holy shit, dude! For real?
I dispute that because tomorrow is not Thursday for me.
I was going to say I wasn't 100% confident when I said that because I genuinely just like, what day was it?
I never know what day it is. Well, I guess coming up for me is lunch. I'm going to have some lunch soon. Well, I guess it's brunch because I haven't eaten breakfast and it's like, closer to 11 a.m. So I guess brunch would be coming up for me. And then I'm playing old wrestling games on PlayStation 2. That's what I'm doing today.
Ooh,
playing some SmackDown vs. Raw. Maybe some SmackDown vs. Raw 2006 for some GM mode, Really feel it. So that's my kind of afternoon. It's raining, so, I'll bring my dog inside and, yeah, that's my day.
Yeah, get the dog inside.
Yeah, he doesn't like the rain. He's a pans.
Oh.
But, yeah. That's the rest of my day. I guess that'll do us this week. Wilf, where can people find you on Twitter if they need to stay up to date with Wilf?
All I'm going to say is that if you're not following already, you should follow a Twitter handle that is @StayOffScript.
I've got the eye emoji going on right now. What's going on? We've got some cool stuff. There's I guess, how would you describe it, Wilf? The change is coming.
July 1st, Wilfred Watches is dead. It's going away forever. No more New Japan talk. No more wrestling. And follow the Twitter handle @StayOffScript. You'll find out that new co-host will be named soon. The content of said program will be named very soon, and the name of the program will be named within the next week or two.
Ooh, drum rolls and all that, all that shit. But thank you, Wilf, for coming on today. It's always fun to chat to you because you never really know where we're going, and I kind of like that. So thank you for coming on.
Yeah, I really fucked the show up. I'm so sorry.
No. We do that on the constant. That's our thing, isn't it, Kevin? We fuck shit up all the time.
I live to fuck shit up.
Damn. Well, that's one way to fucking end it, Kevin. Jesus. Yeah, cool. All right,
Happy Friday, everybody.
Well, till next week when we fuck more shit up. See you guys next time, next Friday on Wrestling Reverb right here on Brainbusta Radio. Peace out, everyone.
Iconic!
Yes. Actually, no, yeah. Everyone, stay iconic.
Iconic!
It is Josh here, of course. You just heard my voice on Wrestling Reverb, but I'm just quickly popping in to say please catch Diving In with Josh every single Tuesday. You can find it wherever you get your podcasts. So please catch Diving In with Josh. It is the pro wrestling podcast, not about wrestling, but yet about pro wrestling fans and their lives outside of this wonderful world of wrestling. That's every Tuesday, Diving In with Josh. Get it anywhere. iTunes, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts, you can get Diving In with Josh. So go and check that out every single Tuesday.
Hi everyone, it's the Queen of NE, and you're listening to Wrestling Reverb right here on Brainbusta Radio, where you can also find me on Queen's Court every Wednesday.